Hi there. So this is a short video, going to be about 15 minutes, I think, um, for working on the abs and on closing the diastasis recti separation with a focus also on keeping the hips stable. So because that right hip is still a little bit wobbly, I'm going to really work on keeping that in line and finding it in the hip socket. So if I were to show you on the skeleton, so here's the hip in the socket. I'll stand behind so you can see a bit better. Yeah, in the socket here. And we want to sort of just make sure that it stays sort of quite central with the leg. So not too much twisting, because that's often when it gets stuck. In fact, for you, it gets stuck when it goes that way internally. And so we're just trying to keep that right and left hip in the center line. Okay, so hip width apart is about this wide. Yeah, you think I'm standing there as well. It's exactly in the middle of my leg. So not here and not here, but feeling that you're quite secure with that. Okay. So then you're going to need a blanket, a ball, and one of these sort of bands if you've got it, and then also a block as well. Okay, so we're going to come and lie down. And finding that hip width apart angle, find your feet on the floor. And just check that the hips feel that they're centered. So if there's any sort of little small micro wobbling that you need to do to find the center of the legs, then do that. The ball's going away. And you might, to do that, we might use one of the blocks just in between the thighs. And that just brings the hips back to the center. Check your low back is fully happy. Just massage your tummy a little bit, just getting the muscles warmed up. And then starting with the breath, inhaling and exhaling with a foof. So imagine you're trying to blow out a really long line of candles. And as you do that, the abs come in towards each other and sort of lift up from the pubic bone. It's as if your whole lower body is being put in a corset. So inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale. Now don't rush this. Don't rush the inhalation or the exhalation. As you inhale, allow everything to soften. As you exhale, you might even think of that exhale, the pelvic floor draws together, the left and right sides in between the legs, and then as if you were zipping up a tight pair of jeans, everything coming in, the muscles here in your stomach drawing in, drawing towards each other, everything there on the out breath. Inhale and release. You might even notice that the pelvis sort of goes into a pelvic tilt on the exhale. Let that happen if it's comfortable. If it isn't, don't. Again. You could even just notice what's happening here in between your fingers or under your fingers, and then inhale and release. If at any time you need to, you just gently micro move your pelvis. Yeah, just to let things settle, or even you could put your hands underneath the lowest part of your back if that gives the angle that's a bit more comfy for your low back. And then again, inhale. Last one. Inhale. And well done, release. Take hold of your knees for a moment. Just rock your back on the ground. Again, thinking about that hip alignment, keeping the hips in the center of the sockets. And then grab your ball. The ball, if you don't have a ball, don't worry, just put one foot up on the sofa, but or your feet up on the sofa. Just start with the shins on the ball here. And just bringing the hands onto the abdomen. And then reaching your hands by your sides. If you want to do your hundreds, you could do them like this. I won't go through them all, but you could do this every day. Don't even need to lift up your head. You can feel those upper abdominals working as you push the hands down. As it gets easier, you can take the feet away a bit further. But you don't need to do that yet, just staying nice and secure, okay? The same Fu breath every time you push, going slower and slower as it gets harder and harder. And relax. And then just walking your feet onto the edge of the ball. And just then thinking about the lower abdominals, rolling the ball towards you and away from you. You can have your fingers on the area beneath your belly button, so between the belly button and the pubic bone. Again, this feeling of the two right and left sides coming together. Just rolling towards you, rolling away. Keeping the hips in the center of the sockets. We're articulating your back, we're activating the belly, we're working the hip muscles. If there's any pain in the hips as you do this, don't do it. Excuse me. Then just move the ball a little to the right and just have your right shin on the ball. And again, check the hip is in the center of the leg. And then with the left foot on the floor, just going to engage the left glute and release. Engage the left glute, release, do 5 of these. Engage and release, engage and release. And then when you're ready, you start to press the foot down, engage the glute, and just come up into a one-legged bridge. And then down. And then up. So the pelvis is lifting both sides, but it's being powered by your left leg and your left glute. Your left foot, the whole of your left leg. 5 or 6 of those. Then bring the ball into the center and just rest your legs on the ball for a moment and give them a shake. And then moving the ball over to the left side. And then now on your right side, really being secure on that right foot. Hip alignment, really good. Press the foot down, engage the glute and release. The glute muscles attach onto your hip bones, so they're relevant here for us. And then when you're ready, pressing through the foot, lifting up and lowering down. Slow and steady. Firming the hip in the socket, working all the muscles all the way around. Use your glutes to help you. Inner thighs, outer thighs, good. And then coming back down, well done. Both feet onto the ball, both legs onto the ball. Again, a nice little wobble. Press the ball away, hug the knees into the chest. Roll onto the side, press yourself up. Let's come to standing. And you're going to need the brick and the stretchy thing. So first of all, just find yourself in standing comfortably, then pop the brick in between the thighs. So you don't want to be too wide, so depending on how big your brick is, to find that hip action. Want to start to squeeze the inner thighs together and then just feel that you've got that feeling of both sides working, left leg, right leg, inner thighs working, good. And then you can inhale and exhale your arms up a few times, just finding that stretch. And if you think of the muscles of the leg as being in 4 sections, we've got the quads at the front, the hamstrings at the back, glutes on the side, and then adductors, the inner thighs as well. So we're working all of them by standing like this, finding that balance of standing. And then inhaling, bending the knees, exhaling, coming back. Inhaling, bending the knees, making sure that they track straight over your feet. Inner thigh work, glute work, leg work, all happening here. Okay, so about 5 to 10 of those, and then grab the stretchy thing. If you want to use the yoga belt, you can. Just be careful as you step in, of course. Popping this around the middle of the thighs. And then again, finding that hip width apart. Now we're thinking of the legs pressing outwards as you come down and come up. After you've done a few, you might want to do both. So you've got a squeeze in and a squeeze out. Everything's working now. Make sure your feet feel comfy on the floor. Well done. And then taking the brick out. Standing now. Slight pressure onto this belt. Lift the toes off the floor so you activate the arches of your feet. And then come here. Lift the pubic bone to the navel. Out the breath. So you're feeling everything's working now. The arches of the feet, the shins, the thighs, the glutes, your belly. Reaching your hands forward. Good. Breathe. Take 5 breaths here. Good. Inhale. Rise all the way up. From here, take hold of your right or left elbow and have a little side bend. You can keep the belt there. It's quite nice to keep the legs secure. And then inhale up. Exhale over the other side. Inhale back to the center. Roll your shoulders, remove the strap. And then squeeze the inner thighs together. And all we're going to do is take the weight into your left leg. Just going to take the right leg out and back. Out and back. If you need to hold on to something, you can. Any spasm in the hip, stop. Rub the glute. Make sure the hip finds itself back to the center of the leg. 10 of these, or 5 to 10. Do 2 sets of 5. I've lost count. Good. And then standing on your right leg. And you're using the left glute here, you're the glute to take the leg out to the side. It's a little more controlled than doing this clam movement on your lying down. Your low back should feel more happy this way. Good. And then back to the center. And then grab the block. Place it back here. Take the weight. Actually, no, take that away. Squeeze the legs together. Stand on your right leg. Come onto the tiptoes of your left foot. And just stay there take the left arm up, breathe in, breathe out. This is your balance. Both feet facing forward, working the leg, breathe here. Well done. Take 5 to 10 breaths. Really think about balancing. Slow down, be in your breath, no rush. And then back down. And then weight into the left leg, tiptoes of the right leg. Before you go over, firm the ball of the foot down on this right leg. Stabilize the right hip. On over to the side. Good work. And then releasing down. Now, you could do all of that standing practice again, if you wanted to. And then if you wanted to finish back onto the ground, the ball can go underneath your legs again. And you could even put the strap around the thighs and come and lie down. Or, if you don't have time to lie down, pop the ball against the wall, sit on a blanket, pop the belt back on the middle thighs again. Just gives you a little support here. And then the brick could go underneath the back of the head. Oh, you just get an opportunity to lift the chest a little. Ah, and breathe. Enjoy. Remember, no pain, of course, in anything that you do. Have fun. Let me know how you get on.